Good afternoon, everyone. Myself, Rahul Bansal, Assistant Professor in Civil Department, Chandigarh Polytechnic College. So, in this semester, I will be teaching you the subject fluid mechanics. So, let us start with introduction of syllabus related to the content. Here, I'll tell you fluid mechanics is a special branch of civil engineering in which we deal with the fluid, which is a flowing material like water, human blood, mercury, etc. So today I will share a topic regarding the fluid mechanics in this area. In this here, the subject is fluid mechanics. So, what is fluid mechanics? So, first of all, we can learn about mechanics word. What is a mechanics? It is the oldest physical science that deals with both stationary and moving bodies under the influence of forces. In simple words, I can describe that when we apply a force on any type of body, it may be moved after applying the force, or it may be remain in the rest position after applying the force. For example, if I apply a force on the wall and it remains in the rest position, then we say that it is the stationary object. As compared to that, if I apply a force on a ball, and after applying the force, the ball moves slowly, then we say that that ball is a moving object. So the branch which deals with both stationary and moving bodies under the effect of force is known as mechanics. So in this, when the body which is in the rest position, then it is known as statics branch of mechanics. And when if it deals with the bodies which are in the motion, then it is considered as dynamics. So here we can describe the subject fluid mechanics. So the fluid mechanics is defined as the science that deals with the behavior of fluids at rest or in the motion, and the interaction of fluid with solids or other fluids at various boundaries. The study of fluids at rest is known as fluid statics. So here we can describe what are the various types of fluid mechanics. So here first one is fluid statics, fluid kinematics, fluid dynamics, hydrodynamics, and hydraulics. These are subcategories of fluid mechanics. So here we can explain what is fluid kinematics. When pressure forces are not considered, if we apply a force on a body or fluid, then it is considered as fluid kinematics. And if we apply the pressure or force on the fluid which is already in motion, then that branch is known as fluid dynamics. And after that, I can explain you which is hydrodynamics. In this, the in this we can study about the motion of fluids that are practically incompressible. Incompressible means the type of metal which can't be compressed, like water, gas, etc. These type of materials which are incompressible in nature is usually referred as hydrodynamics. And last one is hydraulics. It is the branch of fluid mechanics which deals with the liquid flow in pipes and open channels. Open channels means our canals, rivers, etc. So the main question is what is a fluid? How we can describe that metal is fluid and that metal is not a fluid. So here I can explain you what is a fluid. A substance which exists in its three primary stages, which are solid, liquid, and gas. So in that, if a material or substance is available in the liquid or gaseous state, then they are considered as fluid. But it is not in the solid phase. Okay, because a solid can resist an applied shear stress by deforming, whereas a fluid is made on the ability to resist an applied shear. In this, we can easily change the shape. For example, if we having a amount of water in the bucket, so then the water gain the shape of bucket automatically. If we move this water from bucket to a glass, then it easily acquire the shape of glass. So it is ability of fluid to change its shape and dimensions. So here these are the some classification of fluid flows. First one is viscous versus inviscous. Viscous means heavy, means like example honey is a viscous which have maximum molecules in between which are interacted with each other. So fluid is also a viscous type of nature. So when two fluid layers move relative to each other, a friction force develops between them and they can move slower to down and tries to slow down faster layer. The viscosity is caused by cohesive forces between the molecules in liquids and by molecular collisions in gases. We can here know that what are the various types of forces. So there are many two types of forces in between the molecules. First one is cohesive forces and second one is adhesive forces. So viscosity is due to by the cohesive forces. Second one is compressible versus incompressible. As previous slide, I can discuss you the fluids are 100% compressible in nature, like water, gas, etc. Solid materials are not compressible, so they can't be considered as a fluid. So a fluid is classified as compressible or incompressible, it mainly depending on the level of variation of density during flow. For example, honey. While we have honey in the flowing condition, then the density of honey is very high. So it is considered as low compressible fluid, but it is a fluid. And as compared to this, if I have a brick and at the time of flowing, the brick is impossible to flow and the density of brick is very much high. So it is not a compressible. As compared to this, a flow is said to be incompressible if the density remains nearly constant throughout. Then these type of flows are considered as incompressible flow. Next classification is laminar versus turbulent flow. So here, what is laminar flow? When the fluid is moving, having a smooth layer is considered as laminar flow. For example, water. As compared to this, if the fluid is moving having a different order of motion with high velocities and low velocities, and there is a velocity fluctuation in that flow, then it is considered as turbulent flow. In this, the water is moving with minimum velocity as well as maximum velocity. So there is a complete variation in the velocity of flow of fluid. Then these type of flows are considered as turbulent flow. And if the flow is not a complete laminar flow and not a complete turbulent flow, then that type of flow, which is the combination of laminar flow and turbulent flow, is considered as transitional flow. In this peak, we can easily see that the above peak of laminar flow, the bottom peak of turbulent flow, and the combination of that is considered as transitional flow, which is in between of laminar and turbulent flow. Next topic is properties of fluids. So for determining the characteristics of fluid, we also have complete knowledge of properties of fluids. So in this, we can explain what are the properties of fluids which we want to know. So mostly basic properties are regarding the fluid is pressure of fluid, temperature of fluid, volume of fluid, and mass. And some other familiar properties are viscosity, thermal conductivity, modulus of elasticity, electric resistivity, thermal expansion coefficient, etc. So first one, the main important property of fluid is density. How much density a fluid have? So first of all, we can define what is density. So it is defined as the ratio of mass of a fluid to its volume. Simply, density is equal to mass upon volume. Thus, mass per unit volume of a fluid is known as density of a fluid. It is considered and denoted by symbol ρ. In SI units, the unit of density is kilogram per cubic meter because the mass is considered in the kilogram and volume is considered as meter cube. So the density of liquid may be considered as constant, but as compared to liquids and solids, the density of gases changes with the variation of their temperature and pressure. Now, second one is specific weight, or we can word it weight density. It is defined as the ratio between weight of a fluid to its volume. In density, we can take the mass of the substance or mass of the fluid, but in the specific weight, it is defined as the ratio between weight of a fluid to its volume, and it is denoted by the symbol small w. So mathematically, we can write small w which is equal to rho multiplied by gravitational force, which is written as small g. Next one is specific volume. This is very related to the specific weight, and it is defined as volume of a fluid of a fluid occupied by unit mass per unit mass of a fluid is known as specific volume. Mathematically, it can be written as volume of fluid upon mass of fluid. It is mostly considered and applied for the gases, not for the liquids. And it is expressed as meter cube per kilogram. Next is specific gravity. It is related with the earth and it is defined as the ratio of a weight density of a fluid with respect to the weight density of a standard fluid. It is a dimensionless quantity because in this we can divide weight density with respect to the weight density of another fluid, and it is written as capital S symbol. Next is viscosity. The question is how the viscous is fluid. So viscosity is defined as the property of a fluid which offers resistance to the movement of one layer of fluid with respect to the adjacent layer of the fluid. In simple language, we can explain the viscosity topic with the help of an example honey. Honey is a complete viscous material. If we pour it on the surface, it moves or it flows slowly with respect to the adjacent layer. So it is completely viscous. And as compared to this, if we pour the water on the same surface, the water can flow easily. So we can simply say that the viscosity of water is very low. This is the big difference between viscosity of low material and viscosity of high material. Next is surface tension. It is related with the surface of the material in which we can obtain or we can pour the fluid. So it is defined as the property of a fluid at rest by virtue of which free surface of a liquid behaves like a stretched membrane. For example, same water. If we pour a water in a glass and after some time we can pour this water to the another glass, then there are some particles or droplets which are attached with the surface of the glass. This is a concept of surface tension. Next is capillarity. It is defined as the phenomena of rise or fall of a liquid surface in a small tube related to the general level of liquid when tube is held vertically in the liquid. For example, in the chemistry lab, we can we can have a liquid in the vessel and we can suck it with a small lengthy tube. This is due to the capillary action and the property is known as capillarity. It is the important property of fluid. Next topic is pressure. The main concern is the fluid having pressure on the different type of surfaces. So the total pressure exerted by a liquid or fluid on any surface in contact with it is called thrust of liquid. It is considered by a liquid per unit area of the surface in contact with the liquid, and its SI units are Newton per meter square. And same is intensity. Intensity is very nearly about the total pressure. So it is defined as the pressure per unit area. So for this we can easily find the pressure of the fluid, and after dividing it to the area we can easily find the intensity of pressure. On this topic, based upon, we can generate a law which is considered as Pascal law, having the pressure value at the different position with the different values. So a French mathematician which name is Blaise Pascal established a law in 1653 which is considered as Pascal law. In this diagram we can see that the area of vessel is different at the left hand side and is bigger in the right hand side. So at the different points the value of pressure is also different due to the change in area. So this law states that the intensity of pressure in a static fluid is transmitted equally in all directions, but pressure is applied at any point in fluid at rest. The pressure is equally transmitted in all the directions, but the pressures is different at every point, which is depending upon the area of the container. So some basic applications of Pascal law are the underlying principle of hydraulic jack and hydraulic press. We can also apply the Pascal law in hydraulic jack and hydraulic press in the motor vehicles braking system. Second, artesian wells water towers and dams, the Pascal law is also applicable. And last, scuba divers will also understand this principle and they can manage their trainings having the complete knowledge of Pascal law, which related with the pressure at different points. Next is total pressure. So total pressure is defined as the force exerted by static fluid having different surfaces when fluid comes in contact with the surface. It is very related to correlate to the intensity of pressure. Next is center of pressure. Center of pressure means in a vessel or in a container, the pressure is acting at all points of the container, but they have complete certain center on which the complete pressure of the fluid is acting on the container. So, what is center of pressure? In a submerged surface, the intensity of pressure varies with the depth. The intensity of pressure is not uniform in the immersed surface, so the resultant pressure also doesn't act at the center of area, but it acts a little below the center of area. Its simple example is we have a water in the bucket and I drop a coin in the bucket. When I try to pick the coin, the center of the water varies at the bottom of the bucket and at the top surface of the bucket. Next is atmospheric pressure. The fluid is also depend upon the atmospheric pressure. At different areas, the atmospheric pressure is different. So it is equal to 1,01,325 Pascal, or which is equivalent to 760 mm of Hg, which is mercury. The Pascal is a Newton per meter square, or in the SI terms, it is considered a kilogram per meter per second square. It is correlated with the time. So we have some devices with the help of which we can measure the pressure at different positions at different temperatures. So first one is the piezometer tube manometer. It is also a device which is used for measuring the pressure. So in this diagram, we can see that this is a device which is completely filled and the vessel and the top of the vessel is open. In the vessel, the water is completely filled, having a particular H1 height and H2 height. So in the upper area, A is the center of pressure and B is the center of pressure in the circular bottom area. So this simple device is considered as piezometer tube. As this tube is open to the atmosphere, the pressure measured relative to atmosphere, which is considered as gauge pressure. Second device is U-tube manometer. This is mostly used device for measuring the pressure. It is a simple piezometric device, but in this we can also connect a U-tube with a piezometer device with the help of which we can easily calculate the differences of height of the pressure at different positions. So the fluid whose pressure is being measured should have a mass density less than of manometric fluid and the fluids shouldn't be able to mix completely. So some fundamentals which are given as fluid flow are: a pipe is a cylindrical structure having a circular cross-sectional area and the pipes are used in almost all the industries and our houses. For our houses, we use pipes in the supply of fresh water, for the removal of wastewater, supply of gases, wastes, and any other areas. So in these pipes, we can consider such types of flows which are given as first one steady flow, second one unsteady flow, next laminar flow, turbulent flow, transitional flow, uniform flow, non-uniform flow. Next is Bernoulli's equation. This is also important equation at a point of flowing fluids. It is related with the behavior we easily understand of the fluid, so that we use this equation for finding the pressure energy of fluid flow. Bernoulli's effect is the lowering of fluid pressure in regions where the flow velocity is increased. In the high velocity flow through the construction, kinetic energy must increase at the expense of pressure energy. This is the pictorial diagram of the Bernoulli's equation. Here we can see that at flow velocity V1, the area is very large, or we can say that the mouth of the pipe is open, having a large area. So here pressure is V1, and at the center of the pipe, where the area of the pipe is very low, means the pipe is contract here, having velocity V2 and pressure P2. So in this diagram, we can easily see that A2 means area of second part, a contracted part, is very less as compared to the area of the open portion of the tube. So according to the Bernoulli's equation, if area is minimum, then the velocity of flow is maximum, means both are inversely proportional to each other, and where the area is maximum, and so the velocity of the flow is very less. And the Bernoulli state that if this resultant occur, then P2, which is the pressure at the contracted area, is less as compared to the pressure P1, which is at the open area of the pipe. Here P is the pressure energy. So some are the applications of Bernoulli's equation. This type of principle can be used to calculate the lift force in airfoil for the behavior of fluid flow when its vicinity of the foil is known. Next is an injector on a steam locomotive. In ancient times, when we use the steam locomotives, then the concept of Bernoulli is used at that areas. Next, the flow speed of a fluid can be measured using a device such as venturimeter or orifice plate, which can placed into a pipeline to reduce the diameter of flow. Next, the pitot tube and static port on an aircraft are used to determine the airspeed of the aircraft. These are some basic applications of Bernoulli's equation. Thank you. If you have any query, then you can ask me through my email ID.